Virgo, it's your in-depth weekly forecast for week commencing the 8th of April for the Ascendant, the Sun or the Moon. On the screen now, I'm sharing the event chart for midnight on Monday, which provides a backdrop for the whole week. We need to be mindful of your ruler, Mercury, and Mercury continues its retrograde through to the 25th, but it does forge a very positive link to the part of fortune. Now, Mercury is in the part of your chart to do with where you're most invested, but that can be in a practical and physical and financial way, but also emotionally, and it forges a lovely link with the part of fortune. There could be a chat you have this week with someone which could surprise you in terms of their understanding of your situation or how deeply you feel about something. But also at the start of this week, Venus continues just into your 8th house, where it can attract good fortune to you financially, or someone close to you can have some kind of uplift but be generous to you. But that's forging, just like last week, a super link to Pluto. Maybe you can move your resources around and just squeeze a little bit more from them by doing things in a slightly different way. You are someone with a great gift for looking at the detail of things. So there may be something that if you look again, you can squeeze a bit more from it. Now the moon's very close to Venus at the start of this week, which could give you a longing for a deep connection, especially if you're not in one. But as the day goes on, so the moon and the sun step forwards and meet with Chiron. Chiron in the 8th house is quite complex. It could be an influence where we have a gift to assist people in understanding their finance. So many financial advisors will have Chiron in the 8th house. Maybe bankers, people like that too. However, it can be where we feel we don't get much back from other people. And in the sign of Aries, it's very much about our identity. So if you feel your life lacks really close connections with people, that could be the thing that you're mournful of through this total solar eclipse, which is the 3rd supermoon in succession. And that event, which occurs on Monday, is going to provide a backdrop for the next 6 months. So it's very powerful. But the 8th house can be about transformations of all kinds. It can also be to do with healing. If there is something of a psychological or a physical ailment that has been in some ways a little bit stuck, you may find that something can shift during this period of time. And one of the great ways for that to happen is through new information. Jupiter can be about information, also philosophies. It's in your 9th house, and it's suggesting that a connection to overseas or to someone who has a very wide perspective of life can be very fortunate for you, particularly by the 21st of this month as the two meet. But Mars in your sector of relating is going to be very supportive to that conjunction between Jupiter and Uranus, and actually later this week forges a great angle to Jupiter already. Yet it is in a conjunction with Saturn this week. They're within 2 degrees as the week begins, but that becomes exact on Wednesday. If there is someone that you're dealing with who's been very, very difficult to deal with, perhaps very stubborn and unyielding and unbending, and you've been trying your best to see their point of view, lean into their needs, respond to their perspective, and you're still getting nothing back, you may find by Wednesday that you are going to react in a very firm way. But you know, even if you do, by Thursday, and the Cazimi featuring your ruler Mercury, that actually, despite Mercury's retrograde, could see something then move forward. So maybe there is a big discussion that you need to have. Maybe you need to be more combative in your approach. It could be with a line manager. It could be with a colleague who's taken you for granted. But now is the time to really front up on your boundaries. So Saturn's been encouraging you to do this for the last year. You may have experienced some cool responses from various people during that time. Now it's time for you to find your voice. and really be very strong-willed if someone isn't being reasonable with you. But that Mercury Cazimi, despite the retrograde on Thursday, can then see you use your powers of perception and discrimination, where you get into the detail and sift through what's really relevant and get to what's important to you, and that can give you an outcome that pleases you. And as I mentioned, Mars then moves forwards, escapes the more limiting energy of Saturn, but picks up in a great angle with Jupiter. So this week is going to be interesting. I think there could be some very important discussions, very important inner thoughts that you have. It can be a week of evolution, and through that evolution it may feel a bit uncomfortable, but it's really, really an important week and an important next 6 months for you to move forwards and evolve in a way which really feels that your life has a deeper meaning to it. It's not just going through the processes. You need to feel that you're experiencing things, and sometimes the best way to do that is through overcoming challenges, whether it's in relationships, a business situation, with our work. By coming through those challenges, it can help us grow, and that's the big opportunity for you this week. It's been a real pleasure being with you, Virgo. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a great week, and if you've yet to do so, please like, comment, share or subscribe.